Hello and welcome. You are listening to the One Thing on Edge Radio Australia with Lisa, Aaron and Leanne. And today we are opening Pandora's box on deciding your destiny with Kyle Spyrides. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And tell us a little bit about yourself just to start off, Kyle. And then I'm going to ask Lisa a couple of questions as well because I know she knows you well. So
I want to just say before you throw it over to Kyle, welcome back.
Oh,
we
thanks.
missed you
Welcome
last
Oh,
week.
likely story, Rachel. Rachel, I'm glad you didn't get too comfortable in my seat.
Did you see the message that she put up when Rachel was on?
I did. Jeez. If I was Rachel, I'd be moving house. I'm just saying that. Bit dicey.
Bit
Yeah.
dicey.
She's a bit protective of the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we love about you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
it.
well, let's get into
Exactly.
things.
Thank you, Lisa.
Honestly, yeah, I'll tell you right now, it's wonderful having you home. So that
Oh,
is great.
see?
Absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay, now,
Because
Lisa.
you know you can get up to mischief with me.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But I'm going to throw to Lisa here.
Oh, they're all throwing at me.
Well, why not? Why not indeed?
Okay.
Let's jump into it now. So, how do you know this young man?
That's a really good question.
I have them.
I was introduced to Kyle through a lovely lady called Heidi Jameson. I'm trying to pronounce her name correctly now.
That's right. Yeah.
And you were both members of a networking group in Perth, and it was around the time of the mandates where we used to meet secretly. And Heidi ran an event at her home, or maybe it was at Nolan John's actually, at one of those events. Was it Nolan John's, was it?
Yeah.
So the night I met you, was that the same night I met your mother-in-law, Elvira?
Yes. Shout out.
There you
Shout
go.
out to Elvira. Hi,
Yeah.
Elvira.
Hi, Elvira. So that would have been, 3 years ago?
Yes. Yeah.
So that is how I know this young man. And we've been in inconsistent contact.
Right.
But one of the reasons that I fell in love with radio was that Kyle had his own radio show at a radio station in Rockingham called IPL.
Great little station.
It
Fantastic
is.
people.
Inspiring Passionate Lives with Tristan Reddick.
Yes.
And I got a phone call from Kyle or a message saying, I don't know if you're available or not, but I've just started this new show with Michael Daisley and I've got to go over east. How would you feel about filling in for me? And I responded immediately and I said, I've got no idea what to do, but I'm a great believer in just saying yes and working out the details afterwards.
So 3
And
years
taking
on.
over.
Yeah. Yes.
3 years on.
Yes.
Kyle, just so you know, 3 years on, she still doesn't know what she's doing. But she's right in. I mean, she's go hard or go home.
Yeah.
She'll love that, right?
Yeah.
I've got the right attitude.
I'm teasing you. Absolutely. You know, I love the fact that you've embraced it so much. It is, I mean, it's a great medium. And obviously we mix it up here. We do a lot of video as well, but it's a great thing.
great.
And you can, this is a great way of communicating with the community, right? I mean, right now, if people want to make comments, they can jump online, they can actually make a comment and we can read them or, engage in the conversation away we go.
two-way, yeah, it's
absolutely.
interactive.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
And the thing too, because we go out on so many different pathways that because of that, we'll actually see some of the questions during the week or later on, so we can actually answer them later. So yeah, it's nice to be interactive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the viewers at home that can't see, the studio is very, very cool. I just
Thanks,
wanted
man.
to say earlier on, wow, really cool.
We won't say what he really said, but
He may have dropped the
He
F-bomb. I'm
said
just saying, come on.
it was
Funky.
funky.
Yeah, there we go.
Funky, okay, funky. They funked
Sure.
it up. Not, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I've got to watch how I say it.
Very
Beautiful.
funked up.
Oh, mate, okay. Well, you're here, and I notice you've got a book in front of you. Now,
Yes.
I've read a couple of these things.
Occasionally.
Does it know your destiny?
So I'm more...
Is it on Audible? Because then he may actually read
Yeah,
it.
it's on Audible.
Oh,
There we
okay,
go.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
Spotify, any of the audio sites.
Fantastic to say that because, I'm always inspired by people who write books because I struggle to read them. So you're way ahead of me on this one. What inspired you to go and write? I mean, it's even got a hardcover. I mean, that's a proper book.
Yes. So the hardcover is my favorite.
Yeah, it's nice.
Version. Any books that I get for myself, hardcover is awesome. So it was in that ominous year of 2020. Found myself in an apartment, in my apartment that I was renting alone, and the world was running around like it was a chicken and its head had been chopped off. And so during that time, because I was into like photography, videography. I had my own photography business.
Oh, cool.
And I was following these guys online, and they were in Panama, or I was in some island in America. And I remember I just started watching their videos beforehand. They did training, and then as they, as COVID like spread across, their videos kind of centralized around that.
Sure.
And then after watching it for a while, I started like feeling kind of anxiety and depression, and like kind of feelings and emotions, and my temperament was kind of like that of many years ago, not how I was at that.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. So I was like, where's this anxiety and this depression coming from? And then I looked out the window, and I just looked out and I just observed. And I went, there are more people walking dogs in Perth than I've ever noticed. I just had a thought. I'm like, where do these dogs hang out? Where do these people walk? They don't walk their dogs when the world is normal.
Kyle,
now all of a sudden,
you're a deep thinker. Look at
that. I tell you, I'm a philosopher over there about the dogs. No, but I just noticed people are out enjoying the sun, enjoying life, breathing in fresh oxygen. And
well, they didn't have masks.
Well, I don't know. This was pretty early on. So,
okay.
Yeah. Well, from what I noticed, and I was like, wow. You've got this little TV screen or this little computer, and you can get lost in that little world, and it creates anxiety, depression, sensationalism, so that you'll click the video and subscribe to the news outlet and all those sorts of things.
Sure.
So, but then you just change your perspective and your outlook, and you look outside. And so that kind of, that kind of sparked me into thinking about the book. But that came,
Yeah. So, okay, my sort of question would be how did you cope as a single person in a single unit, or whatever?
I was in a relationship, so
you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh,
He did say he was alone, but he wasn't alone all the time.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, now
we know who he was with.
Well, we hope
could go one of many ways.
We hope he was with his fiancée.
It could go very many ways.
Well, right now,
this show happens to do that. Okay, just saying.
No,
I'll
that's
just
cool.
take this moment. You have the right to remain silent. And you say will be used against you. No ifs, no buts.
It's all recorded.
Fantastic. No, look, okay, but you're stuck in a small environment like that, and actually, in a relationship, in some ways, it's a lot tougher because you're forced to be with each other so much when you're accustomed to going to work, being apart.
Yeah.
You might love your girl to bits, but maybe not 24 hours a day, and vice versa. All the things that you do that irritate her would probably be an issue as well. I mean, I'm making the assumptions there.
Is that why you think you wrote a book?
Yeah.
Okay, let me clarify, because now it sounds very interesting. At the time, my girlfriend, she was staying with her parents, so then I was in the apartment alone.
Oh,
so
okay.
So that's how that clears everything up.
Yes, it does.
But whilst I was alone, So whilst I was in my in the apartment alone, I was going through all of that on my own, and then I just had this moment of my grandfather passed away.
Sorry.
2 months before 2020. So I think right before the fires across Australia, and so it was around that time. And so my grandparents raised me, so they were like my parents to me. So I went over there, spent that final week with him, held his hand, watched him actually pass away, and had that whole laying by. So we basically got him a hospital bed. Put it in the house so he could look over. He was an architect, so he designed his own home, so he could look over his view. As he wanted to pass. And so we'd be on cushions in the lounge room, just there. Anytime he needed us, we were there for him. So had that experience. Then 2020 starts, and then pretty much straight away into 2020, the whole COVID thing, lockdown, and then in this apartment of my own, and then probably processing, losing.
You were very close to him, weren't you?
Mate.
Yeah.
What did you call him?
Clive? Oh, just Clivey. That's
Clivey,
it. Clivey, yeah. So, Clive Stevens. So he was like a father to me. And
imagine,
so when I was 14, I actually went and lived with my grandparents, and they raised me and helped me through a lot.
And when you read Kyle's book, you'll understand his story, where he's come from.
Yeah. So I was one day during the middle of the year, 2020, I was just deep in prayer, and I don't know why, I was just sitting on the edge of my bed. I just said, God, Jesus, ether, energy source, whoever's listening out there.
You weren't fussy.
No, I'm trying to tap in here.
I'll take anyone. Okay, come on.
Well, we don't know who's the right one, so let's tap into everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was putting out a signal, so a little SOS, but I just, I said, because I was trying to work out my path in my life, and I said, please help me get on path. And then while I was like, had my eyes closed, prayer, and this book came out the corner of my eye. So literally it had this photo, and this photo is like what my uncle took when I first came to Australia from South Africa.
Wow.
So he took that photo, and so I had the photo, and it had written on it, "Decide Your Destiny." And I heard, it sounds really weird. It's like I heard someone whisper in my ear, like, share your story. But what Decide Your Destiny was, and it took me straight away back to a memory 8 years earlier when I was sitting on my grandfather's couch, and in his house, and the light was coming in through the window, kissing the side of his face, and he turned to me, and we weren't talking about anything. We were just sitting on the couch together, and he turned to me and he said, "Decide your destiny." And I said, "What, Clivey?" And he said, "Decide your destiny." I said, "What are you saying, mate?" To make sure that whatever you do in your life, that you decide your destiny.
I like that.
And went in one ear, went out the other. And so 7, 8 years later, clearly didn't.
Yes.
It was stored somewhere up in there.
I was going to actually tease you and say, look, you have an original idea. The photo's reused, the name's reused. I mean, come on, mate.
Repurposing, I tell you.
Why not? Look,
so many copyright infringements right there.
But it's pretty. I love the fact that it literally has had such an impact that you packed it away for when you actually need it. And when you've got a close relationship with someone and you truly love them like that, you can sit there in silence, and you can have those very small moments that mean so much, and even small statement can stick with you for life, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting because that whole period, I lived kind of underneath the house. I called it the dungeon, but I'd come in the house, turn left, and my grandmother was a counsellor for 60 years, so she had a counselling room. My grandfather had a drawing room, and at the back there was just a little bed, and so that's where I'd kind of sleep. So I'd come in the door, and during the teenage years, I had a lot of trouble as a teenager, and so I just kind of walked into the house and went into the dungeon, you know? And so I put myself in the dungeon, and my grandmother would always jump up as soon as she heard that doorknob turn and try and come to me and try and bring me out of my darkness, bring me out of my, that period of time. Yeah. And how was your day? And always trying. And, teenager, you're blocking them out, anyone with teenage kids, they know you block them out, block it away, leave me alone, very fragile, and so I was doing that. But like you said, you don't know what goes in, and I think it's always important to try and say what, rather don't leave it unsaid. If you're going to say, hey, mate, are you all right? You've been acting a bit funny at work. Is everything all right at home? I don't want to pry, but hey, how are you doing?
I often think this. If I think it, I'm going to say it. I mean, the fact is, if I'm thinking it's in there, right? And I want to share that with the world. But so many of us stop ourselves from doing that.
Yes.
So you got your own radio station so that you could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You can do it.
Force myself upon others.
What I want to ask, Kyle, is so when you were there and you went back to this dark place in this apartment, right? And you were coming to decide your destiny. So that the book is actually what drew you out of that dark place again, like what you're saying, your grandmother was trying to draw you out of the room. So, perfect. Yeah, really good analogy. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. Actually, that's a good connection. I hadn't thought of it like that, but
it was the book that came and drew you out of that. Well, we can call it almost like a depression, right? That whole feeling of darkness and heaviness and weight.
Yes.
And I think a lot, being a mum of boys, when they were teenagers, there's a lot of that with teenage boys, and you can see it also in adulthood for men. Yep. And they try to mask it.
Don't get me started on this subject.
They try to mask it and overcome it because they're the bravado. They're the I can do this. Like I'm not going to show that. But to be in a vulnerable position to be able to acknowledge that and then have this come out of it, I think that's a really, really great result for you in particular with this book. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what's in it.
Okay,
really
and I'm can I just say before you open up, I think that if we were to conclude this show and then somebody were to go and read that book, they'd be like, oh, why didn't he mention about his heart? So please do, include that.
You
a
really
little
want
bit.
me to open up now?
Yeah. Well, just maybe
I haven't even had a drink. There's no beer here.
We'll fix that. I don't know, Jerry. Got to get onto that. Well,
there's a song about that, isn't it?
We'll get you in for a sequel. Have another show.
Yes.
We'll have the beer then.
Yeah.
I will just mention, thank you for the wonderful comments that are coming through. I've been popping some on the screen. So Lisa L has put, it's very real. Our young men need support for sure. A good strong role models. Cannot agree with Lisa. More on that one.
And she has two coming up into teenagers as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It has been such a period, and I will digress for a little second, very, very quickly. It has been a terrible period, quite frankly, where men and boys have been demonized unbelievably. And boys have been taught that they are inherently evil, that they're inherently faulty girls. We need to fix that. And by and inspirational books like this is a good way of starting it. Look deep into yourself and go, okay, not being caught in that darkness, okay? Not letting the black dog just stay there barking at you. You have to be proactive. You've got to step up from it.
Yes.
But it's much easier.
I feel that they find it very hard to step out of that.
I agree.
Having worked in mental health as well, that from the male figure women tend to open up a little bit more to other women, and you can sort of get yourself out of that. But for a man, it's different. I feel like it's very, very different, and they feel like they have to keep things really close to their chest so that they don't disrupt the apple cart, so to speak.
Yes.
Was that a little bit like that for you?
100%. I feel that I kept it too close to my chest, and I developed heart disease. So I had.
Dude, you look bloody fit. I'm going to be honest, right? Yeah. Heart disease. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Well, I guess that's what they call it. So I guess there was a dis-ease.
Yeah.
To do with my heart. So I held everything down, like you said, shoved it down. I was told, by someone, adult figure in my life, that I was broken, all men are evil. The reason the world's effed up is because of men. You're, the problem, not necessarily me, but just men, full stop.
We see it on the billboards. It's going on right now.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, great. Like, I guess that's what I am. What do I do with this? So you're kind of demonized and put in a place like a dog, and kicked and told this is what you are. And by the way, you can't do anything about it before you ever go out and try and make your own mark. So definitely premature. And I think it's, there's problems on both sides. There's problems in society for women and what we do, in terms of women. But I can only talk about myself as a young male.
Yeah.
And as a young teenager, going through a lot of like teenage trauma, physical, mental abuse, and just kind of just pushing it all down and not really, I guess, acknowledging it, and just becoming an angry teenager, trying to find, my own sort of outlets, and angry, aggressive, and all those sorts of things. And so I just pushed it down. And then, by the time I found myself when I was about 14, I didn't really have anywhere to stay. And so I had to, one night I found myself kind of, I guess, kicked out, and then it was kind of like, all right, where do I go from here? And then I skipped a couple of trains, went down to my grandparents' house, knocked on their door in the middle of the night, and then they welcomed me into their home. And
how wonderful are they, right?
Yeah, incredible souls, incredible angels. So they open their hearts, open their arms up, and they welcome me in. But that doesn't mean that you're fixed now, or that doesn't mean that you're okay. So even though they welcomed me in, they gave me the bed, but then the
healing needed to begin.
Yeah, and so I think the healing, or not the healing, probably just the opening up, being authentic, connection with people, like
hugely important.
Yeah. Connect. Oh, don't worry.
Honest and good connections with people, not.
Yeah, and I didn't do that, and my grandmother's like counts of 60 years, incredible. She's great at doing, like, pulling that out of you, but I pushed so much stuff down that by the time 2 months after I left school, I found myself in an induced coma, and I had like a 3 centimeter bug eating a hole into my heart.
Whoa.
So, and then my family were told that I was not going to make it through the night. So, my personal belief is that because I shoved emotion and trauma and all that sort of stuff down, and I didn't communicate, I just, I feel like I kind of created a disease in my body.
You broke your own heart.
Broke my own heart. Let's get a little violin going.
I was just going to say, there's a song there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I get
Achy
it.
breaky heart.
Achy
Sorry.
breaky heart.
I had to lighten that one up.
You got to lighten the mood up. It just got real dense all of a sudden.
I had to lift it back up. All right.
Okay, Kyle, just don't get a mullet and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Achy breaky heart.
Oh, dear. Mate, I think it's like so many things. It's inspirational, but you know what it is? It's bloody strength. You telling the story right now. So many people are not strong enough. And I'm not having a go at people for not being strong enough, right? It's a process. You're not born, well, maybe some people are, but okay. Most of us have gone through trauma in our lives that have knocked us around, all of that. And we find, like, kind of what you were saying before, it's almost like starting life behind the 8 ball, because you've got these negative attitudes and things about yourself.
Yeah.
So to step above that is very inspirational, mate, and very, very powerful.
Thank you.
I mean it. Simple as that. And I love the fact that if you're doing things like that, you're putting pen to paper, or you probably typed it, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So that's how much I know about writing books. Right? But what I'm saying is this is for other people, for young people, men, women, whatever, just for kids to be able to open a book like that and maybe recognise themselves in it.
Yeah.
It brings so much out of them.
I think you've got a workbook in there as well, don't you?
Oh, really?
From memory?
Yeah, so basically how I wrote it was, and I did write with pen at the start, at the start, just to kind of get the outline.
Cathartic as well.
Yeah.
I started with crayon.
Yeah. Yes. Stone and the chalk.
That's right.
Sorry. But every chapter ends in an exercise. So then the book is like not meant to be like a long, woe is me. Like it's supposed to be bang, a bit of a story. Hey, this is how so basically when that moment happened, decide your destiny, then I went, okay, that's interesting. How did I decide my destiny? How did my grandparents, how did they decide their destiny? What does it take to decide your destiny? So every chapter, 22 chapters, and there's 22 exercises. So every single chapter ends in an exercise that you can do.
Yep.
It's not a long, write a 3-page monologue exercise, but it's something actionable that you can do. So like, five skills you learned as a child. Maybe as a child.
Brilliant. For the first exercise, list 5 resourceful lessons. I love the word resourceful, that you can utilize today from the lessons learned in your own youth.
Now, Lisa, let's look at the screen there. Talk to the lovely Lisa, who's actually asked.
Lisa Lawler.
Yes, there we go.
Is his book accessible for a young teen? Kyle?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, if you go to 𝐊𝐞𝐲.com, you can get the book there. Yeah.
Easy as that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll ship it to you.
I already shared with you
Yeah.
one lesson I learned in my youth that is incredibly resourceful in today's climate: resilience. Grab a pen and paper and write down your top 5 resourceful lessons learned from your youth.
Yeah.
It's fantastic because it's interactive and it's helping people grow as they go along.
Yeah.
I love that. I think I need to get a couple of those.
Yeah, no,
For
it's
my library.
fantastic.
The picture on the front, is very I don't know.
It's almost war torn, isn't it?
It's confrontational. No, but I don't mean that in a bad way.
For me, when I looked at that, I felt you feel the young child that's really trying hard to come out, but just stuck.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, the way.
I'm drawn to it. I get that.
Yeah.
It's soulful.
Well, thanks to my uncle, Sean Izzard. He took that photo. He's a professional photographer over in Sydney.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Well, you said yourself you love your photography.
Yes.
So the important question, okay, Canon or Nikon?
Neither.
Neither.
Oh, well, that's the end of the show.
Fujifilm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I love my Fuji.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
No, but look, photography is very powerful.
I started with Nikon.
There you go.
I started with Canon, then went to Nikon.
Oh.
My uncle does Canon, so.
Oh.
And
There
you?
we go. Canon, man.
Okay, yeah.
But you're a real estate agent now, aren't you?
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I work for a company called Monarch Real Estate. and they are a younger crew. They've basically partnered a digital marketing agency and a real estate agent who's quite experienced and has sold a lot of luxury real estate. And so they're looking to do something a bit different. Real estate can be very transactional, and obviously that is part of the process, but we want to make it a bit more human and actually focus on helping people.
Connection again. Look at that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Helping people. It's a stressful time of their life. And so anything we can do to help them. And then also our marketing, is all on social media and obviously, across the main sites across Australia that people use. So yeah, we like to help people at any step of the process, but it's, it's something that's on everybody's radar, real estate. People, all Australians are
we
so
need someone to
interested in
live, right?
Yes, need someone to live, and everybody loves to. Everyone asks for the crystal ball in real estate, and so it's a good place to be. I think at the end of the day, you're just solving problems for people and helping people out, and because real estate agents are looked in a certain way, like when I told my grandfather, because I got my license originally in Sydney like 8 years ago,
right.
And when I told my grandfather that I was going to get my real estate license, he was like, "What?" He was like, "What do you mean? Like, going to be like, there's car salespeople and real estate agents,
really?
and you're like,
Lisa.
the perception, the community
Really?
perception is like woeful."
I did not know
It's
this.
the same as network marketers, Lisa.
Where do lawyers fit in?
Well, right at the bottom of the barrel.
Is this a Halloween
Sorry, Nina.
episode?
Yeah, sorry,
Could
Nina.
become one.
Yeah.
You know what I opened up at? What you focus on grows. Bringing importance and grandeur to what you want to grow is integral. So and then it goes on a little bit and it says, in order to create the right environment for your greatest purpose to reveal themselves, we need to work out what we are willing to grow towards.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
I think I need a
This is
few
great.
of those.
Yes.
I think we need a library of them here.
Oh, thank you. I can arrange that.
Fantastic. I'm going to take a quick little opportunity. We're going to be silent for just a sec because I'm going to play with some buttons, see what we can do. It's Edge Radio Australia.
Ever felt lost online finding the right businesses?
Absolutely, like a needle in a haystack.
Introducing the Worldwide Awake Business Directory.
Tell me more.
It's your hub for businesses sharing your values. Discover eco-friendly products, socially responsible services, and more.
Count me in. I'll check it out straight away.
Find businesses aligned with your values on the Worldwide Awake Business Directory. Start making a difference with every purchase.
Ever felt lost online?
Oh, look, I'm clicking away. I got a bit excited, didn't I? I overclicked.
Hang on, we
Don't
won't
you hate
talk
that?
about that, okay?
Over-clicking.
Oh, so many.
So you missed me, didn't
I
you?
did miss you. I really did. Like a hole in the head.
While we're on the subject of over-clicking, when I came into a studio today, hadn't seen Leanne for a couple of weeks, and so I was missing her. And the first thing she said was, "Have you got any pain? Have you got any pain?"
Sorry, I'm excited.
I mean, what a weirdo.
I know.
Yeah, you are.
But that's
But
why
what-
I'm part of the
Well,
crew.
no,
right?
actually, I feel pretty good. But speaking of clicking, my whole right arm is really sore because I've been doing too much work. So, yeah. So,
And you said your
afterwards
jaw was
can-
sore as well. So, that's just not clicking either, is it? It's just
no,
it's
I need a whole bone
wah, wah.
treatment, and I need some of your gold cream.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can have it.
the gold stuff is
The gold
literally
stuff,
gold.
yeah.
All right, enough of this. Let's get back into. Let's talk about your fantastic story, mate. All right, I'm very inspired by that. How long did it take you to actually write the book?
And was it channeled?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, was it? What do you mean by that? Was it channeled?
Was it channeled? Was it all from you, or did it come through from the other side?
Oh, well, when you go to the other side, no, there's a door.
That's what we want to know.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that's
kidding.
right. Let me tell you, don't press that. No.
When I'm in flow, a lot of my stuff
Yeah.
just comes through me,
Like in
and then
waves.
I look, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, where did that come from? Like I didn't even know I knew that.
Yes. So yeah, it definitely it gushed out of me, like it came through in waves. I actually had another heart procedure coming up in like the middle of the year potentially. So I went on this kind of quote unquote health program every morning. You know, in the darkness, 4 a.m. I was out jogging. I was drinking a juice. I was meditating, all these different sort of things, like just on this health program, because I knew I had a deadline when I was going to have some more tests, and if the tests didn't go the way I wanted them to go, then I was going to have another procedure. So every time I went jogging, it was amazing. Download, just all came. I had to pull over by the side of the road, chuck some things like in my notes on my phone, and just kind of get things out. Bro, I need to put that there, and just kind of like a crazed person trying to like piece, kind of that criminal scene you see in movies where they got the pens and you're trying to.
We've got a lot of windows here. You're going to start writing all over the glass.
Don't leave me in here. Make sure I leave first.
Like CSI by the time you leave.
Exactly. Whoa, what happened here? But so that it kind of came out of like just probably the exercise, the clear air. I think exercise, one of the best things of it was just the mind. I think it was just getting my mind right, getting out in the open, especially during that time. So,
well, we've got a gym next door, so Aaron regularly does that, don't you, Aaron?
It's exhausting just walking to the gym. I mean, it's about 30 feet. Sometimes I sit down on the bench on the way.
So you do bench. Nice. What do you bench?
Well, I used to be able to do
this. Four slats and 4 legs.
Aaron, I've been sitting far too much at my computer. I'm not doing enough exercise either. So, I think that's so
I used
good.
to do 120K reps back in the day, but there you go.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We can't live back in the day, Aaron.
Oh, look, the older I get, the better I was. Okay, I'm going to live in the past. Absolutely, yeah.
So back in the day, I was cycling 60 Ks a day too.
So you've shared with everybody, and we'll share the links after the show, how they can get hold of one of these.
Oh, it took 2 years, right, by the way. So that was the
2 years. 2 years. So how are the sales going, and where do you, what's your vision for this? Who do you want to have their hands on it to live a better life?
So the ideal person, and you guys already kind of called the people out. It's I was lucky enough to have my grandparents during a time that, to be frank, I wasn't feeling so good about being
life.
here.
Yeah.
So I had an opportunity. Well, I made a decision to go and try and simply live with my grandparents, and then they were there. But not everybody has that privilege. Not everyone has the opportunity.
That backup.
Yeah. So definitely, I wanted to be able to go, this is what I had. This is the help I had. This is what I was given, and this is it in a book. So young people that are going through trying times, but then I've had people that have bought it and they're 80 years old, and it sparked something in them. Someone bought it and was like, you know what, I've been wanting to write a book my whole life, and I'm going to start doing it. So a lot of people can take a lot away from it. It's really just like a take action sort of tool, basically.
I see a lot of young men who would be in a situation of hiding themselves away, having access to a book. But see, I know a lot of them, and that's great, that's on Audible and Spotify and all that, would not be picking up a book to read.
Exactly.
But because it is in that medium as well, I feel that it's those young men that feel like there's no way out. How do I see myself going? Where do I fit in the world? That's who I see it.
It's like you're on the road and there's lights on the side, and then up ahead there's no lights on the side.
Yeah.
It's a shame that our prisons don't have better resources. Like, I can see something like that being really well received from somebody that has a lot of time on their hands. And our prisons are filled with young men who have lost their way.
That's
okay. If we can talk prisons, I've actually got a prisoner who actually writes to me reasonably often. Okay, here in WA, and they asked for my help effectively with, believe it or not, they were told, a big group of the men there were told that they had to do a specific type of course, otherwise they couldn't actually get parole.
Wow.
Right? Simple as that. Do this course or you can't get parole. Here's the problem. They didn't have a course for the subject.
Wow.
You've got to be kidding me. No joke. So there's a big bunch of men there who could not get parole. And, of course, they lose, momentum. They lose that need.
Faith.
Yeah.
Hope.
Boom.
Hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah.
Anyway, so long story short, I was very lucky. At the same time, I was dealing with somebody who actually was dealing with something very similar as far as a psychologist who was looking after that kind of course. And we hooked them up and we had a bit of a conversation. The next thing we know, we actually got that course to be put into the prisons. So
Maybe this
Well
is something
done,
that
Aaron.
can be
Thank
done.
you know,
Maybe this is something that,
well,
that can
where I'm
be
going on
pushed.
this is now that just came because this person reached out to me. Great guy. He's done something wrong. Okay, but he's a good guy. He's got a good heart. He's he's
Just made poor choice in life.
made some poor choices, right? But he reached out. Okay, and it comes down to what you said before. Actually, both of you there. Actually, I think everybody said it, action. Okay, he took the action. He went, you know what? I know a loudmouth who knows a few people. I'm going to reach out to him and we'll see what we can do. Yeah. Luckily, being a loudmouth, I knew somebody who could help, and I believe in action. Nothing happens until you take that first step, right? Yeah. So that action is so important. And when young boys are lost, young men, right?
Boys or men, yeah.
When
Well,
they're lost.
Some are still boys, really. They've been that lost.
Society's
even though they say that they are a male and 18, some have been so lost that they've never gotten into that man stage of being a male, right? Of being, in that man phase. So you're right in saying boys.
And that first step doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
And we don't need permission
correct.
for that first step. And I think
So
they're the
true.
two things that hold us back is, if I'm going to start my business, if I'm going to try, if I'm going to give that a go, it needs to be perfect, because what do we fear like more than death is like embarrassment,
Yeah.
And so that holds us back. And we need permission because we're in society.
Is that really true?
I think, well, maybe it's death then. They're pretty close. Embarrassment, people
Don't want to be embarrassed.
really don't like
I'm
being
actually
embarrassed.
with you on this one. I think
Okay.
that, and we're all wired differently. Okay, so our level of embarrassment is different.
Yeah.
But so
I
many
embarrass
people.
myself every day.
Oh,
You're
me
so
too.
good at it, Lisa.
And we embarrass
Come on.
you for you.
You've embraced it. You've embraced it.
You have. You've gone pro. I love it. I love it.
That's probably why we attract one another.
Exactly.
I embarrass myself on a daily basis too. So.
And that's great. Like, live a little, take a little.
Yeah.
risk.
I'm
It's
not
really,
afraid
really
of death
important.
either.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you say your book, this is a question and it's just popped into my head, would be for someone who's searching their way in they've come out of the workforce, they're no longer fit into a job, and they're looking at and they're an older person, they might be female, and they're looking at something, they still don't know what their thing is.
Yes.
Do you think that this would guide them
100%.
into that?
Yeah,
Okay,
100%.
just saying that for some of the people out there that I know.
I
as
love
well.
the fact you've got, because I haven't looked at the book. No, full disclosure, I just
I haven't read it.
Yes.
I'd rather talk to you and find out all about it. right?
Yeah.
But I really love the fact that you've got those little exercises at the end. That is so clever, mate.
Yeah.
Because, right now, people have got the attention span of a gnat, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's not give big, long
What was that,
exercises.
sorry?
Attention span of a gnat, exactly, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe
What were you saying?
I just fell for it. I fell for it.
You're such a helpful person.
Yeah,
Aren't you?
yeah. So, how do you keep an idiot in suspense? I'll tell you later. Right. Anyway, look,
Oh God, we should hire ourselves as a duo.
Lots of
these are not even Christmas cracker worthy.
Hey, you
jokes
don't even
of that
need
bad.
me here.
There you go.
Oh, you're a kicker, all right.
It's a kicker. She's a kicker.
Just hate when mum and dad fight. I like the fact that they're short and to the point. I think that is fantastic, mate. It makes
So
such a
you can
difference.
read it.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I think he's gonna
would
do-
inspire me to do so.
Well, to your point, I think 80%. I think for a certain age group, the younger age group, like 80% of them do not read books.
Yeah.
They listen to audiobooks. So
Yeah.
that's what
Or
inspired me to do an
podcasts
audiobook.
or- yeah.
And it's on
Yeah.
Spotify. So a lot of people have a Spotify subscription,
Yeah.
or they've got an Audible, or it's on I think it's on 40 different like audiobook
that's
websites.
amazing.
So
Do you know what excites me about this? You know how I've been working with you on the new Edge promo packages that are available. And we haven't even had a chance to tell Leanne yet. But one of those is actually reading news. And I won't give too much away because it's a secret. It's a secret. But imagine amazing stuff like this.
Yeah, I know.
Like people actually, because people are lazy. and they won't
we've got a lot on our plate these days,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people get on the train. I know for a fact, because I can check, with the old wonderful world of digital. But, people are doing things like listening to our podcast back. I don't know. You look at the times when they might be on the train in the morning, all that kind of thing.
That's
Yeah.
So,
true.
this is a big thing. They don't want to look at us. They just want to listen, which is important, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Because I
it's-
don't want to be distracted.
No.
You can listen while you're mowing, while you're doing so much. So
So true.
if to look, you got to kind of go, I'm sitting down here, I'm paying
You
committing
attention
mow
to
a
it.
lawn
Yeah.
and listen. How do you do that?
You put your headphones on.
Headphones. You can do every.
My husband does that all the time. He's
I
on his
love
little
audiobooks.
ride-on lawn mower.
Yeah.
And he
I've never
he
mown
listens
a
to music,
lawn.
but anyway.
Yeah, chuck the radio.
You can
Richard,
see Richard Sterling. You should see him. He's got all his get up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Headphones.
You
he
can,
sees 𝐿𝐿 coming out, just turns it right up.
yeah. What was that?
Can't hear you.
Great podcast. It's yours.
Learning, education.
I'm listening to you.
Oh, dear. Hey, just want to take a quick moment to mention the people have been putting these fantastic comments and questions
Trish.
on board. I've brought every one of them up. I know we haven't actually discussed
Oh,
them.
I
all.
haven't been seeing
Oh,
them.
no, it's
Can
just
you
been
put them all
absolutely
up for
brilliant.
me, please?
Yeah, why not? Okay, we'll bring one up here. I mean, this is just simple and right to the point. Love this one right there. Look at that. I like his openness. I think that's great. Thank you, Sandra.
Thanks, Sandra.
Yeah.
Straight to the point. So
Yeah.
incredibly true.
Yeah, Carl's very
Let me
open.
just jump in. Let's go. Trish, what does Trish have to say? What have we got there? Okay, we need more role models for young men. This book sounds amazing.
It does,
I
Trish. I think it's
agree.
going to be
Thank you, Trish.
definitely,
Thanks, Trish.
definitely the way to go.
It's so true. I harp
You got a
on it.
great community.
I think so.
We have a really
We've got
good
wonderful
community.
people. And community is everything. Like,
Yeah.
before when you're talking about like everyone walking in their dog, okay?
Yes.
And you found out all
Without
these dogs
masks.
Yeah.
in Perth. Without masks. But get out there, okay? Get the grass between the
important without
toes.
Sorry,
all
I
that
still,
sort of
Yeah,
haven't,
stuff.
I
the
still
grass.
haven't
Yeah.
recovered.
Breathe,
I have
people,
not
breathe.
recovered from that.
Oh.
Take the
People
mask
on
off.
scooters wearing a mask.
Oh,
Yeah,
Think they're in cars and they're
no,
running
I
wearing
need
a mask.
therapy.
hand in there, I like masks. I want to promote masks. I think it's fantastic. Right? Now I
With
think
the Edge Radio.
Oh,
logo.
even better. No. But why I like masks is I can see someone from 50, 80 meters away and go, I don't want to talk to you. Saves me so much time. Okay. No. You're not for me. It's great.
and they're wearing it on their chin.
Saves me so much
Do
time.
you know where it was coming from? I think you already knew he was going to say
Oh,
that.
dear.
Oh.
But hey, each their
I
own.
knew
Everybody's different.
exactly.
But yeah, like it's
We're alike,
yeah,
remember?
it's sad but true.
I know.
I harp on it, and I know that that a lot of people probably go, "Oh, he's on this subject again." But I'm so passionate about men's health, right? Because I'm a man, and I'm not anti women's health. But
Oh, I
quite
don't
frankly,
know. Anyway.
let women look after their own
Where's
health.
that water pistol, Lisa?
I had to put the water pistol in the other room, right?
We've got all this new furniture that Travis has donated, so I think you and I should have a little cupboard with our tools.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, with our
Tools of the
resources.
trade.
Tools of the trade.
Taser.
Yeah. We had water pistols just before
Oh.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Where
that's
are
nice.
they? That's good.
I'm in the middle of doing the show, and then
yeah.
they're
And then he's like,
the gear.
Oh,
Because for
man.
those watching at
so
home,
proud of that.
over here is the Starship Enterprise just off screen. So
Yes.
there's all sorts of buttons and carry on and yada yada going there, screens or whatever.
Yes.
But got to keep it sort of working. But yes, I'm very passionate about men's health and particularly young men's health because
yeah.
and I keep seeing these disgusting banners we're paying for all around Perth. Basically teaching boys that they are faulty females, that they are they are inherently evil. I hate it. I hate it. I
I
hate
haven't
it.
seen it.
If you want good men,
Me either.
right? Okay, you encourage
It's not
them.
in my vision.
Yeah.
Right, you put it's not in your vision. Oh, it's
No.
everywhere.
I don't. We don't see it because it's not in our vision,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
It's not in our.
It's just heartbreaking to me.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really is.
so
Because
true. What you said is so true because you think about
Have you seen it? What he's talking about?
no, not that I know of, but
Okay.
I definitely understand what you're talking about in terms of the culture.
I will tell you straight out, right? When I'm talking about the banners, okay, the banners I have a particular issue with. I have a lot of issues, but this particular one.
That's true.
Right?
You take
We won't go
umbrage.
that
That's
Okay.
right. But the banners are. So
He's
I've been
got less
seeing.
issues since meeting us earlier.
I know.
I've got a lot more. A lot more.
Keep bringing
I'll
them
tell you
out.
what, I've got more issues than Women's Weekly now. Anyway,
You got 99 problems.
that's right. That's
More
right.
You know what
issues
Annie
in the
gave
West
me
Australian.
feedback on the show. She goes, "Oh, I love watching your show. She suspect you talk over each other all the time."
We do. We get a bit passionate about things. It's good, but absolutely. So the banners I have an issue with is the state government, and we pay a lot of money for this, putting these big banners everywhere. They put it also on YouTube videos, the videos. It's just all over the radio. It's all over the place. It certainly won't be here at Edge Radio, I'll tell you right now. About the coercive control, and they paint men and boys as these abusers of coercive control, right?
What?
Yeah, absolutely. They're saying coercive control is domestic violence, and it is. But here's a little sad reality, and okay, I'm going to get all the hate for this, but statistically, guess which gender commits coercive control?
We
the
have
most?
no coercive control over our husbands. Are you
what
serious?
photographs on there?
So there's photographs basically and all sorts of images, and that they're saying basically they're suggesting that men are abusers of and using coercive
Can
control.
you show me after the show?
Well,
I'm
they
really
pulled the one.
curious.
There was one literally just over here at the subway. They pulled it down like 2 weeks ago, right?
Because everybody can be guilty of that.
Exactly, but there were no women over 80%, just so you know. Okay, so why we got a campaign spending millions and millions of dollars demonising boys and men on something that's actually a woman's issue? But there you go, right?
Yeah.
And the one that upsets me the most is the one that pops up in YouTube. I know I'm getting passionate, but I do that.
It's good.
At night or whatever, you're watching YouTube videos and it pops up, and it's a young boy who's basically using coercive control over his girlfriend, okay? And they're showing this as a teenage boy. It's such rubbish. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't exist, it doesn't happen, but when you push this narrative, when you push these lies, and the science and the stats prove that this is untrue, right? When you push that, you are telling that boy that he's faulty. Years ago, when Gillette ran that campaign that just was basically saying, boys, you're all faulty, you're all lousy.
I think we need a whole show on this.
I went and I took a video and it went viral, and I went out there and I got the old green bin and I threw every Gillette product I'd ever owned, and I was addicted to them. I used them since I was a teenager. I threw them all out. Because I'm not.
That'll teach them.
They lost. Well, you know what? They lost $8 billion. They lost $8 billion write down on their company.
Wow.
not from me. I didn't use that money.
You were busy, man.
I was busy.
You were busy.
A lot of work cooking this show. No. But what I'm getting at is that it's all of our duty to make sure that whether you're male, you're female, right? We build up people's their confidence, right? Especially when they're a teenager, especially when their kids spend that time.
I think at the end of the day, what we need to be doing is we need to be teaching people how to communicate effectively, whether they're men or women, because that type of behavior comes from anger. It's people not being able to express themselves in a positive way.
Yeah. Communication. Let's just bloody talk.
But not just that, it's the emotions and because it's communication, but like you said, it's the anger, it's the emotions. Like, because people, when you act off of a feeling, an emotion, my feelings, I feel sad, I want to get a chocolate, I feel this, I feel that, I want to do this, compared to when you act from more of a higher thinking state, or no, right now I don't really need to have, and I've been guilty, I don't need to have that bowl of ice cream right now, or whatever, that whole tub.
I think a bowl of ice cream is the least of our problems. I'm talking about when you hurt your partner.
Oh, no, I know, but
I wouldn't mind if my partner had a bowl of ice cream as long as he's not hitting me.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay. Do you know that right now domestic violence is at an all-time low in the history of Earth?
Wow.
Now, you wouldn't know that if you watched the media, would you?
No.
Not at all.
All-time low. This is the safest time in history.
No, I did
to
not
be a
know
woman.
that. So why are our jails
Because
so
it makes
full?
so much money.
Why
It's
are our
about
jails
money.
so full then?
Oh, because fake domestic violence, VROs,
They're
all kind of
probably,
carry on.
they're probably in
it's
jail
about
for other
money.
reasons.
It's an it's a $60 billion industry, the legal through family court and all that. $60 billion. It's about money. Simple as that. Breaking families up is very profitable.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to
come back to decide your destiny.
I'm going to do this like this because Lisa has a great point that I've been
I
trying
was
to steer to.
on a day-to-day basis,
Yep.
Kyle, what do you think our young men need?
encouragement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
exactly what you said. I feel like, we in our society, like you said, we kind of think, he's a man, he can toughen up, he can, those sorts of things. But I'm seeing it more in these days, and I try with my generation and younger. I try to encourage. Hey, you're looking sharp today, mate. You're looking dapper. You're looking, look, you presented well, and just those little bits of encouragement in the day, and you realize how much they matter when you see the face change.
Spot on.
When you see
Yeah.
the
So
energy
if-
change.
In a family unit, you've got some young men, because I know there's people on here with young men in their family units. As a parent, what would you, apart from encouragement, is there something else that you think when they are in that place that they could actually, the parent can actually instill?
Yeah, 100%. So because I was, since 14, like raised by my grandparents, it was a very, very different upbringing. So I think parents have a different position. They have to discipline you. They have to kind of take you by the reins a little bit more. They have to say no a lot. So then you think about it, when we go out into society and we want to go and try this and try that and be expressive and embarrass ourselves and learn through, like fail, and then learn. People don't generally do that because most of our upbringing, we've been told, no, don't do that. Don't do this. Don't. So my grandparents gave me the opportunity of being, they were in their room, in the morning, and I'd go in there and we just have conversations, and they just created the space. They didn't come to me and grab me, shirk me by the shirt.
They were there.
Yeah, they were there.
They were present.
And connected, and looked me in the eye. I'd say, look me in the soul, and would listen to me. And when I'd say, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm cutting this, family member out of my life. I don't have anything to do with them. Every time they just bring me down, and so they would just, they wouldn't jump in. No, you can't do that. No, you shouldn't do. Don't. No, they would just listen and hear me, and then that's what as my grandmother's counselor, that's what a lot of it is you're going and because when I was 18, I actually went. While I was still at school, I went and saw a counselor, and it wasn't my grandmother because conflict of interest. She took me to someone that she knew. I remember my grandparents took me there, and I went in to the counselor and sat and had a conversation, and then I left and I said to my grandparents, hey, Kyle, how you doing? And I just said, how was it? I said, it was a bit weird. Like she didn't tell me how to fix everything and fix myself and fix all my problems. She didn't talk much. I just did all the talking. It was very strange. And she was like, that's the point. Like, she's
it's your
there.
life.
It's your life, and talk through it. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
I want to keep going, but guess what? We have run massively over
time.
Oh, wow. We've done really well on that one, but you know what? That's a great thing. If we're having a great conversation, why would you stop?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay? This is just the way to do it. You're very welcome to come back anytime there, Kyle.
Appreciate it.
If you've knocked together another book in that time, even better. Fantastic.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'll tell you what, Aaron, the deal is
Mm-hmm.
that if you want him to knock off another book, you need to read that one first.
I like it. You can be my negotiator.
Cover to cover. Okay, all right. Challenge accepted. Right, here we go. Physical book.
And then the other cover to the other cover. So.
Yeah. Back cover to the front cover to the back
I
cover.
was just going to read both sides of the front cover. Never mind. All right, never mind. I'm on here. Well, you're on to me more than a point. All right, that is the show today. Thank you so much for being part of it.
Yeah.
And been an absolute pleasure. Always a lot of fun having you loonies in the room. And thank you for bringing a brilliant guest in, Kyle. We want you to sell this book, mate. We want people to get this because it looks to me like it's going to help a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where can we get it again?
So, look, you can get it on Audible, Amazon, all those sorts of sites. You can get it out there. If you want to buy it direct from me, I'll sign every copy. So just Kyle Spyrides, so Kyle, and then SPYRIDES.com.
I have my signed copy at home.
Yes.
Easy
Oh,
as that.
getting a
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
And she sent me a photo update of where she was, and I love it.
Oh, nice.
I love,
Very
all
nice.
of that.
Show off. And that's the end of the show. Thanks for being part of The One Thing.
Thanks, everyone.
Radio Australia.
Bye.